Hey there, too many beginner-friendly build guides out there assume you already have one of these, when in reality you're just starting out and you're not even sure if you have one of these. Welcome to part 2 of this Dominating Blow guide for beginners. In part 1 we managed to complete Act 3 and then ascended into Guardians after completing the Labyrinth. This video will be covering the changes we made through Acts 4 to 7. Here's what our passive tree should look like after finishing Act 4 at about level 39. Remember to come back and use this timestamp as a reference if you need it. Now that our build is pretty much fully up and running, nothing can stop us. Go out to the Dried Lake and kill Vol. After unlocking the mines with his banner, you'll want to receive a Carrion Golem from Oyen, who's probably hiding in the back of this town. This guy does some decent damage himself, but more importantly, he adds extra physical damage to the rest of our army, making him super good for us. In my experience, he does die sometimes, so try to remember to respawn him every now and then. You can also link him with Feeding Frenzy, which you can buy from Clarissa in Act 3, to boost your army's speed and damage. Make your way through the act, and after helping out Diala here, you'll be able to get Multistrike from her in town. We're going to replace Ruthless from our main setup with it. Now whenever we attack with Dominating Blow, we'll actually attack 3 times, and the same goes for all of the Sentinels that we spawn. It just makes things attack so damn fast. It's pretty amazing. We can also grab Immortal Call and cast when damage taken from these 2 lovebirds over here. By linking these 2 gems together and keeping them at low levels, which you can do by right-clicking the plus icon when you're ready to level up, whenever you take a bit of damage, Immortal Call will automatically be used to make you take less damage for the next little bit. As far as gearing goes, you'll see that through these 4 acts, all upgrades are relatively minor. The biggest thing would be switching to a claw as our main weapon for some extra survivability, and using an Essence of Fear on it to guarantee some increased minion damage on there. Every other slot is basically just focused on life, making sure we have 75% resistances, or as close as possible, and some dexterity so that we can actually equip the claw. I also found this nifty shield here with the mod 32 life gained when you block, and it came at the perfect time, right after allocating glancing blows on the passive tree, which doubles our chance to block at the cost of us still taking some damage when we do. We'll probably remove this keystone down the line when we have way more chance to block without it, but for now it's great. Finish up the rest of Act 4, and here's a look at what our tree should look like when we're done Act 5. You know what? Here are Acts 6 and 7 as well. I don't have much to say about Act 5 to be honest. Grab this granite flask when Lani offers it to you and swap out one of your 2 mana flasks. Use the granite flask for some extra armor whenever you can, and go ahead and plow through the rest of the act. Acts 6 and 7 are just as easy with the exception of the Tukohama boss fight early on. I already made a short little video on that in particular, feel free to check it out. After finishing up Act 7, I went ahead and completed the second labyrinth for more ascendancy points, which I put into Unwavering Crusade for more damage and minion movement speed. Let's go over the gem setup once more. In our primary 4-link, we have Dominating Blow linked with Melee Physical, Melee Splash, and Multistrike. We have a second 4-link where we keep our Herald of Purity linked with Multistrike, Brutality, and Ruthless, or minion damage, depending on socket colors. This will take up a lot of our mana, so I only recommend adding the support gems in there once you've taken this cluster from the passive tree that reduces how much mana gets reserved. We're no longer using our old Holy Flame Totem anymore since it just wasn't worth it at this point. Instead, we've got Summon Carrion Golem linked with Feeding Frenzy and Predator if you can squeeze that in. I couldn't get them in the same links, but I still use Signal Prey to tell my army who to focus on. It's some great utility. I've got Summon Holy Relic still doing its own thing, and Vulnerability and Pride just help us to do more damage. Lastly, we've got Immortal Call and Cast when damage taken linked together for some easy extra defense, and we're still using Flame Dash for mobility. You can pick up any of the gems you're missing from the various vendors and towns, or any of them at level 1 from Lily in Act 6. With the current setup, I expect Acts 8 to 10 to be as much of a cakewalk as these ones were, and don't think I'll need to make a separate video for them. Here's what I anticipate my tree to look like by the time I finish the campaign. Stay tuned for the next part where I'll take the character through some early endgame stuff and see how it does there. Thanks for watching, and in case you missed it, you can check out the 1-minute Tukohama video right here.